and thanks so much for joining me for this Get Ready With Me. Today we're featuring some new products that I received from Roen. So we've got an eyeshadow palette, a lip gloss. Actually, I try a couple of the shades on for you. We're also going to compare, I had this question and was curious myself, the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer with the Chanel bronzer. So medium in the Charlotte Tilbury, and then the new shade in the Chanel bronzer 392. I've got those on side by side. We're also revisiting the Water Fresh Complexion Touch product. So I used that very sparingly, so I don't have any foundation on today. And we're also revisiting the Water Fresh Blushes by Chanel. I have another way to apply them. We're going to show that in application, and I have a couple of new SPF products that we'll be trying out actually before and after makeup. So let's go ahead and get started. My lips are a little dry, so I'm gonna go in with this Roen lip gloss. This is the more translucent one. It's in Cosmo. It looks like it has some shimmer in there, but when I apply it, I don't really see that. There's like a slight pearlescent kind of finish on it, but nothing distracting. No individual particles are detectable. Yeah, I think a really fresh look if you just wanna put a little bit of gloss on your lips. We're also going to go in with the Elixir by Roen. This has some brightening properties, so I just wanna try this out, see if we get some of those results. Of course, it won't be from one use. It'll be over multiple uses, so I've gotta work this into the routine somehow, but feels really nice on the skin. Yeah, it's absorbing nicely. I'm gonna give that a little minute or two to absorb just a bit more. While we let that absorb, I just wanna show you this sunscreen kit that I received from DERMSTORE. It's actually, let me read this. This is a collaboration with the Skin Cancer Foundation. This is a $150 value for $50, and there's quite a bit in here, including some other sunscreen that I want to try. So thank you so much, DERMSTORE, for sending this over. I love SPF. I love trying SPF. I can never have enough SPF. And any innovations with SPF that come on the market, I'm interested. I will most likely be trying it out. You get quite a bit in here. We've got this Kate Somerville SPF 50 Uncomplicated SPF. It's a soft focused makeup setting spray, and I actually have been wanting to try this, so I was excited to receive this in the mail. So we can try this maybe at the end. We'll see how this goes. I also received a mineral sunscreen, SPF 50. This is MD Solar Sciences Protect and Nourish. It's a mineral cream. Looks like this. So I'm gonna choose one of these to apply. We've got the PCA Skin Daily Defense Broad Spectrum SPF 50 Plus. So it's got UVA, UVB. We also have here a lip balm by Elta MD, and I've heard so many of you mention Elta MD in terms of SPF that you rely on that brand. So this is a moisturizing lip sunscreen with transparent zinc oxide. Oh, should we try that now? Let's try that now because I kind of want to see. I know I just added some lip gloss, but if it's transparent, usually zinc oxide is very not transparent, so let's see. Yeah, nice and hydrating. There's also a small Supergoop glow screen, which is nice for travel if you've got a couple days somewhere. This is SPF 40. Then we've got something for the hair. It's a Sun Catcher Power C Boosting Leave-In Conditioner. And then finally, there's this La Roche-Posay, 60 face and body. So SPF 60, which I have mostly 50 plus. It's a melt-in milk sunscreen for fast absorbing velvety finish for all skin types. I'm really curious about this. Sheer weightless protection and hydration enriched with antioxidants. 100% mineral sunscreen. Titanium dioxide 2% and zinc oxide 17%. Let's see how sheer this is. Yeah, so thank you so much, DERMSTORE, for sending all of these over. And again, you can get all of these, I think it's a $150 value for $50. So I'll leave the link below. Great deal though if you love SPF as much as I do. So let's try this out because it says this one is a sheer weightless protection and hydration enriched with antioxidants. It's 100% mineral sunscreen. Fragrance free, won't clog pores. Yeah, so usually zinc oxide will leave a white cast on me. So we're gonna really see how this goes. Yeah, it's actually not bad. That's quite good, and there's a nice satiny finish to it. Is that what it said? A satiny finish? It says sheer weightless. Putting a little extra on the center here. That's not bad for those ingredients, which usually leave a really, really apparent white cast. There's just a slight white cast, but that's very, very manageable. And the finish is nice and satiny. It feels really comfortable on the skin. There's nothing greasy about this one. And I have that oil on underneath too. So yeah, really nice. I've never heard of this brand before. MD Solar Sciences, Protect and Nourish. Yeah, it's a very nice one. And whenever anyone asks about my skincare routine, what I've been doing, sunscreen is such a key role in that whole thing. Any of the progress I make on dark spots, I've got to protect them from the sun or else they just come back. I'm very diligent about applying sunscreen every single day. Going in with the Beige Water Fresh Complexion Touch in B30. So we played around a little bit with B40 and B30, but really B30 for my needs is the best one because I like to just apply this on top of SPF like this and just kind of spot conceal with it. And it's a really natural finish. And I do like to brighten with this as well. So like here, just right in this area. It's kind of where I would normally apply concealer. And then I leave everything else alone. We can build this nicely over here. So we're gonna have more of a natural finish on the skin. And I don't try to perfect this yet, the dark spots yet, because I'm going to go in with blush and powder. So I can always correct that along the way if I need a little bit more, but that's how much I put on, just very, very little. But you can see the difference between this side and this side. It just looks more awake, a little bit more evened out. So I'm just going to repeat on this side. Oh yes, and thank you, by the way, if you have left your shade match and the Water Fresh Complexion Tint Touch, Water Fresh Complexion Touch that works for you, because I think once you get up to like B40, B50, it starts to get a little bit unclear about what shade will work. And I think what you use it for too makes a difference. Like B40 is fine for all over, but really for this part, for anything brightening or concealing, I need B30. So I went ahead and did brows while I was at it. So we've got the DIOR Show Onset Brow in 32 and then also the FLORASIS Eyebrow Pencil. So that's my winning combination of brows right now. So we're gonna test out these two bronzers. So the Charlotte Tilbury versus the Chanel, the new shade. So I actually haven't done this yet, so I don't know how far off the shades are to begin with. So it looks like the tones are very different. This looks like it has a peachier tone to it. Yeah, this one looks a little bit cooler than this one. This is the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Chanel. Let me just put those on the back of my hand really quickly. So the textures are a little bit different. So there's more of a buttery kind of slip to the Chanel. Charlotte Tilbury has more of like a putty kind of clay feel to it. So it feels a little bit thicker. Here's the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer and the Chanel. So the tones are different. I'm gonna go in with the Chanel first though, because it is lighter, and then we'll see the difference. Going in with the Charlotte Tilbury Kabuki brush with the Chanel shade. We'll go on this side. So you can see how warm that is. It's got a warm tone to it. So this is the Chanel side, 392. Very seamless application, beautiful. So it does have like an orangey tone compared to the Charlotte Tilbury. I haven't put the Charlotte Tilbury on yet, but on the swatch, that's what I could see. And you can see that on my skin as well. Okay, so let's go in with the Charlotte Tilbury. I've cleaned off the brush using the same Kabuki brush though. And let's see. This is the Charlotte Tilbury, I have a little boo-boo there. And this is Chanel. So the tones are different. I think this is actually how I would tan. So here's the Charlotte Tilbury and here's the Chanel. So there's definitely a tone difference. So if you like more of like an orangey tone, which I actually quite like, you'll probably want to go with something like this versus this. It's cooler, beautiful though. And of course I'll have to test for how long they last. I don't know that yet. But yeah, they're pretty comparable in terms of how they apply. Yeah, tones are definitely different though. So this is Chanel, Charlotte Tilbury. Of course, I know there will be opinions about what tone people think works for them or other people. But again, I've said it before, it's down to taste. What do you like? And sometimes for me, it comes down to everything that I'm using together, which tone I would pull for. But I like both of them. Let me know if you have these, which one you prefer, and what foundation shade you are, as well as your undertone, because I think that will probably influence your decision on these. But I think this is probably more of like my natural tan versus this tone. So let's go in with this palette. It's a new one by Roen. It's the Eyes on Me palette. Yeah, I would say that this formula is more like a lipstick formula almost for the eye, but really pretty. Very easy to work with as well. Just to make sure that if you don't want any creasing, because it will have the potential to crease if there's too much of the product. So then just really shearing it out nicely. And you don't need too much here. A little went a long way. Let's go in with the deeper shade now. I'm going to take the deeper shade right here, and I'm going to take that in the crease. And then at the ends here. So like the outer edge and then into the crease a bit. Let me put a little of that over here because that was a lot. And you can also use your clean hands with this if you don't have this brush. The brush definitely helps though. Oh, that's a really interesting eye, isn't it? Let's go in with this lighter shade here, the lightest shade. I'm gonna add that to my lids. Okay, and then let's take this sparkly shade right here. Well, it looks more pink on camera than it really is. I'm gonna add mascara and then let's take a look and see where we are. I added Chantecaille's Fossia Longest Lash Mascara. I went in with a little bit more of this shade, the deeper shade. This one right here. Right in the crease, a little bit deeper, but in the same place. I just added a little bit more. This brush is so easy to use. And these layer really nicely, these colors. And I want to take a bit of my La Prairie concealer and just dot it along here. Just really in a small area. I'm just patting that in. So that's the difference it makes. It just brings that part forward a little bit. Okay, we are going to go in with blush now. I'm going to take Warm Pink in the new Water Fresh blush. But I'm taking this brush that comes in the Water Fresh tint product. Yeah, so it comes with this product. I did try that on side by side with the Water Fresh Complexion tint. No, touch. Okay, I tried on the Water Fresh tint next to the Complexion Touch, the new one. So you got to see a difference between the two in terms of finishes, but I'm using the brush, that's what I meant to say, I'm using this brush to stipple that on. Again, this one is in the shade Warm Pink, so this one shows up better on me than the lighter shades. And this brush does work much better than the other one that I was using, the Clé de Peau. This one's much better. Now, if you're just a little bit lighter than me, like my mom, she also wears B30 in the Complexion Touch. We tried that on her. The light pink and the light peach actually looked quite pretty on her, and she ended up ordering the light peach after trying them. So if you do want something very subtle, really natural, and you're maybe a shade lighter than me, then they might actually work for you. Depends on how subtle you want the blushes though. I don't know if you caught that, though I was able to move that around a little bit because you were able to see through the initial makeup that I put, but I kind of moved it back in place just very slightly, and it seemed to make sure that it wasn't lifting. Yeah, so this is kind of interesting because the Water Fresh tint will emulsify makeup and kind of move it around and reset it. It's a little bit of work though to get it there, but it works, especially if you need to refresh your makeup. But this one, in this case, since they're both Water Fresh tint products, I don't get the same complete emulsification. I think that's a word. It doesn't completely break it apart to the point where I can see through to my skin, because that's what happens with a water fresh tint. It'll make like a hole in my makeup and you'll be able to see all the way through to that dark spot. This doesn't do that, which is nice. And you can see there's a lovely glow here. Of course, I'm gonna powder, but I did want to show that to you. Pretty. And then I'm going to go underneath with deep bronze. I really liked that combination. So that's another tip. Maybe try it with this brush if you have this brush from the Water Fresh Tint product. It's really nice for stippling. So you could leave it there. I think a lot of people will like this kind of finish. It does have a beautiful glow to it, but I am going to powder it. It just helps to blur just a little bit more. So I've got Chantecaille's Perfect Blur Powder as always. Next, going in with this product, it's the Clé de Peau Luminizing Face Enhancer. I just love this right up in the front. Yeah, I used this on my mom recently, so she's actually going to order this as well. We did a vlog though, so of course you'll see makeup application, but we did a really beautiful natural look on her and we used this as well. Then we'll do a quick dusting of this product. It's the Oversized Healthy Glow Sun Kissed Powder in medium. And then we're going to go in with this Róen product. It's one of their lip glosses. I think they're so pretty. This is the one in Charlie. And then I did want to try the Kate Somerville SPF Uncomplicated SPF. It's a soft focus makeup setting spray SPF 50. So I'm excited to try this because I actually haven't had much luck with SPF setting sprays. For some reason they don't work for me. They're either too like greasy feeling, or the spray on it is not like a mist. It's more like it's less of a mist. I feel like this is a much needed product out there as a setting spray with SPF that actually works. It must be difficult because I haven't encountered one and I've tried several. So this is the first time for me trying this Kate Somerville SPF, which is in that kit, the SPF kit. So this by itself is $44 and the whole kit with all the other SPF is $50. Wow, it really is like a sun-kissed glow when I put that bronzer on top, because I just applied it kind of where the sun would hit. So forehead, this area here. Oh, I didn't even powder my forehead really, did I? And then just a little bit on the chin, a little bit on the bridge of my nose, just kind of across. So that's what that powder does. It makes it look like you've been in the sun. And even though I added all those powders on top, you still see that glow of the cheeks underneath, but I need that to be set. It does blur a little bit more for me as well. So again, that's why I love that Chantecaille Perfect Blur Powder. But let's go in with this. Shake well, avoid spraying on or around eye area. Close your mouth. Hold the can 8 to 10 inches from the face and spray in a clockwise motion. And then do not apply in windy conditions and use in a well-ventilated area. Let's see what this spray is like first. Okay, so it's a nice mist. So that's good. Okay. Make sure it is a well-ventilated area because you're definitely going to want some ventilation when you use that. Actually, it looks quite nice. And I liked the mist on that one. It was very fine because, like I said before, sometimes it doesn't come out as a mist. If you're looking for something to apply as a spray, you might want to try this. I'm going to have to test it out further to really give you my full thoughts on it, but right now, looks pretty good. Okay, of course I want to powder it a little bit more though after that. Just a little bit. I just remembered I wanted to add a little pop of Intense Coral to the cheeks. So not a surprise, this applied just fine over powder because I had the Perfect Blur powder. I went in with the Clé de Peau and then the bronzing powder. And then I went in with the Intense Coral and it worked just fine. So remember, if you want to try any of the SPF products, there is that $50 for $150 value set, which I think is really great. That gives you a chance to test out SPF products. I liked the one I started with. It had a nice satiny finish, makeup applied nicely on top of it. And then the Kate Somerville, the one that has SPF 50, the makeup setting spray. I'll let you know how I get along with this, but it left a nice lovely glow on the face and it wasn't greasy feeling, so I liked that about it. Then we tried out the Róen Elixir Lovely oil. Of course, I have discoloration and I really want to see if this has an impact on it. So trying to work that into my already very full routine, but I'm gonna try and work it in there so I can give that a try and let you know. And then for the Roen palette, it worked beautifully. You just have to like these colors if you want to pick it up. It's a little bit different than something I would normally wear, but I didn't add any eyeliner. Yeah, so I just went in with mascara and I think it was fine, especially for this. It's a little bit more of a statement color for me, but I think everything blended out really nicely. Actually, let me just take one more thing. This lightest shade here, I'm going to just add it to the inner corner. Let's add a little to the Cupid's bow. And I love this color in Charlie. It's just like a Your Lips But Better gloss. It's pretty much my lip color. So if you look at it like this, it's pretty much my lip color. Let's talk about these bronzers. So right away on the swatch, you could see the tones are different here. This is a much warmer bronzer on me versus this one, which is more of my natural tan color. So when I tan more like this versus this. I don't know if there's one that I like more than the other. They're both beautiful. They both applied really nicely. They appear to dry down nicely, both of them. So for me, I think it comes down to, again, what my overall makeup looks like and if I want something warmer or something a little bit cooler. So I think that's the main difference for me. But they're both in that really nice range for medium skin tones for me. Like I said, I would pick this one over the other two that I have, 390 and 395. So this, if you're gonna pick one in your My Tone, I would pick this one. And if you're interested in the Charlotte Tilbury in your My Coloring, I would pick number 2. And I know many of you have picked up the Chanel products that recently were released, so I'd love to know any tips and tricks that you have learned along the way that you would like to share. Please leave those in the comments section below. But that is it for today's video, so please take care of each other, stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.